Hello everyone and welcome back to another comic book review video. Today we have an all Brian Michael Bendis episode as I will be reviewing Pearl number 1 which came out last week and Action Comics number 1002 which came out this week. Plus I want to show you this Mrs. Manhunter number 2 which I picked up last week, just out of curiosity to check it out, cause back in the day it had very favorable reviews. I won't talk about this issue, but that will show up soonish in one of my retro review videos, which the first one is already up, as well as the Golden Age Superman episode number 1, which is a bit long because of all the extra information that I brought up. Before we get to the reviews, yes, I am wearing glasses after 20 years of not having to wear them due to eye surgery, laser eye surgery. After, I guess, which I had back in the early 2000s. So yeah, I mean, my nearsightedness and astigmatism have returned. So yeah, I have to wear glasses. I should have done this last year, I think, because I was actually seeing blurry, you know, even before last year, but it really got bad, quite recently. So yep, they're back. My old, I have a new look or an old new look, whichever way you want to see it. Um, so with that out of the way, wanna thank the new subscribers who have subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. As always, I urge people who agree or disagree to leave their comments. Just keep them clean, and if there's any disagreement, I always ask for a good reasoning of why you may disagree with the views expressed in my reviews. I don't block people. I haven't, you know, I don't really get a lot of comments, and if I do, well, they're very good comments. Uh, Only once did I have problems with one person, but I don't really like blocking people. I like people to express their point of views, and but unless it gets a little too crosses a certain line, then probably that would happen. Hasn't happened yet. I hope it doesn't happen in the future as well. It doesn't happen in the future at all. That's what I'm trying to say. But thank you for subscribing. This is a little channel. We're always trying to be positive. I'm trying to always be positive here. Yes, sometimes I do go into little rants if I don't like something in an issue, because I'm a little passionate at times. But always positive. That's why I always end the videos with a very positive note, because when I came into the comic book community, there was some negative stuff happening. Back 5, 6 years ago, um, and so I always trying to bring a very positive vibe. Shout out to Reader 1717, who is doing more videos. She put up video quite recently. Hope to see her more videos coming from her. Now she's showing comics and vintage video games, which is very cool. So, okay, yeah. And I think there are a few more people, coming back, making videos, maybe not on a regular basis, but some of the people I used to watch in the earlier days seem to be returning. So let's talk comics. I'll start with Pearl number one because this one came out last week. So this is the return of Brian Bendis's Jinx World Creator Online. So this, I believe, no, this is a 6 issue mini. In fact, all of the titles are going to be 6 issues. This is a new title with him and, of course, you know, Michael Gatos. So it's about a tattoo artist who also happens to be an assassin for the Yakuza. And in fact, she doesn't really want to, she's a very good assassin, as we are told, but she doesn't really want to live that life. She wants to be a tattoo artist. So it's our introduction to her and the setup. I really enjoyed the issue, and of course, the art is beautiful. Just wonderful art. The coloring choices are so great. I mean, so yeah, so I was kind of curious of checking out some of Bendis's other work besides, Superman. I actually picked up back when I was starting collecting an issue of Powers, the original, when I was coming out through Image. And this is really where Bendis shines in his own creator-owned stuff, where he doesn't have to worry too much about the constraints of continuity. Just doing what he loves. Working with collaborators he's had for years. So I really enjoyed it a lot. So I can't wait to pick up issue number 2. Okay, this is gonna be a very short video. Action Comics 1002. So I'm impressed by the fact that Bendis is really moving his plots forward a lot faster than I would have expected. In this issue, Clark learns that the fires were created to distract Superman, and he doesn't really take it so well. We get this wonderful double-page spread, this wonderful 2 pages by Gleason, where he's just so mad that this has been going on, and he just sort of breaks this meteorite and just starts punching it out of the fact that somebody got the upper hand on him and he wasn't even aware of it, but also the fact that people could die because of these fires. There's a lot of stuff going on in the issue. It's very much centered on Clark, so we don't really get a lot of Superman. For the most part, it's really Clark as a reporter, finding out stuff. So the issue actually starts with somebody being dropped off, from above the sky, so we have the New City reporter Robinson Good saying it was Superman, which Barry White says no, because basically at the time of the incident, Superman was somewhere else with the Justice League. We also find out that the guy that was thrown was a criminal, low-level criminal. Probably is not very happy with the reporting because Superman was being seen at the time of somewhere else at the time the man fell, and of course the whole Superman started the fire thing again. Started the fires thing didn't really sound right. Again, Superman was somewhere else, and of course we know that from last issue that that information was made up. So Barry not being very happy with the reporting, asked Clark to follow up on it, check on it, and Clark of course decides at first says he doesn't want to because that was Robinson the Miss Wood's story, but Barry explains that he wants a second look at it, to a different set of eyes, second opinion, if you will. And he actually confesses to Clark that he had Lewis check on his stories as well. So Clark goes on and to a bar where a bunch of criminals hang out, and that's where he learned about the fact that this guy Yogurt, that's his name, started the fires. Wasn't responsible for all of the fires, but for most of the fires, so as to distract Superman and the other criminals could go out and do their thing without Superman being aware of it. Of course, Superman's not aware that they actually have a man watching over him as well, which sort of takes us to like the second subplot, related to the main story, which is one of the criminals heads, one of the bosses, is in some parking lot, talking to this guy to see where Superman's going to be next, where he's going to show up next, and or so that they could, pull up their next job. And then after a long time of not bringing a Superman book, the Guardian returns and confronts the crime boss Moxie, and he sort of starts threatening him, maybe a little, mostly threatening him. He actually sort of seems to have sort of turned the limo over and confronts him, but then Red Cloud shows up, kills the boss, sends the Guardian to the hospital, here, and so now the name Red Cloud goes out to the Metropolis Police, and so again all these little pieces that started Man of Steel and in the last issue are sort of starting to come together, which sort of takes us to the final part of the issue, where Robinson Wood meets this other crime boss. So we know, if you read Destination Number Zero, that story sort of established that Robinson Wood, the reporter, is working for this sort of crime cabal that we have running Metropolis. So makes me wonder, is she a reporter really, or they just made up a really good cover for her. So she meets up this guy, reports what been going on, and then asks for kryptonite, for something. I don't know. Just ask for kryptonite. And so definitely this character is somebody to watch out for. We also learned, and I'm not sure if it was last issue where we learned that actually all of these crime bosses and all these crime families have actually somebody up higher, who's really pulling all the strings. We know it's a woman. Again, who this person is, we don't know, but we know it's a woman. Then we have like a third subplot, which is the whole, Lois has returned to Earth, it seems. So we get a nice little appearance of Cat Grant, who hadn't shown up in quite a while as well in the Superman books. She was showing up in Supergirl, and so she shows up and tells Clark that she's actually seen a part of Lewis's book, and Clark didn't really know that Lewis was back. And at the end, Clark, Superman locates her, and there's a lot of explaining to do for Lois, because Clark has been worried that he can't get in touch with his family because with the whole battle with Regal and the destruction of the fortress, and the only way the communicator got broken, he didn't really know how Lois and John are or where they are. And then Lois shows up, apparently spilling all of her secrets. So it's a very interesting cliffhanger here that we were left with as well. Because if you kind of look at Superman, the Superman book, it's sort of, it doesn't actually mention any of what's been going on in this book. So it sort of makes the timing kind of up, like where does the whole story fits into the bigger picture. But as individual, if you're not reading Superman but you're just reading Action Comics, you get a very straightforward story for Action Comics. But if you read both books like I do, you're really kind of wondering where everything fits in the bigger picture as well. But if you read either one of these books, you get one straight story that develops over time. So really enjoyable issue. Great art by Patrick Gleason, who is leaving the book after this issue, and so we're gonna have a bunch of artists, different artists coming on and doing drawing the book. I thought maybe we get a regular artist, but besides that, quite I've been really enjoying what Bendis is doing with the Superman books. Definitely, I've enjoying a little bit more action than Superman, because I think it's meatier. There's a lot more stuff going on in action I think it's going on in Superman. I mean, last issue of Superman, you know, was very straightforward. Not a lot of stuff going on. Just Superman dealing with the Earth shifting into the Phantom Zone. Here, we got like three subplots going on besides the main plot. We got like three subplots. There are two or three subplots moving in the story. So it's a lot meatier. It's a lot. There's a lot more meat in action than I think there is in Superman. So I'm hoping that we get more interesting stuff going on in the Superman book, besides the whole Superman versus Rebel Czar. This is, which is okay, but I do really like more having more stuff happening in my comics than a part of a story, instead of getting at least a full an issue with one full story, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Then just becoming like a little piece moving, which I think Superman has more than action does. Not a very original idea though, the whole let's distract Superman so the criminals can go and pull their jobs. Kurt Busiek actually did something similar in his run with the prankster, where the prankster was being hired by criminals to create a distraction while criminals pulled their jobs. So he was a hired gun, if you will. So having this sort of thing happening in this run, it's not new, but it sort of takes it further because we've got a whole cabal of criminals, doing this. There's somebody on top of those criminal families that it's really sort of moving things in moving things. So it's sort of a much larger scale than just reinventing a villain like the prankster into just hiring his services, selling his services to criminals to help them commit their crimes and get paid for it. So that's it for this week. I thought it was gonna be shorter, but no. So anyways, that's it for this week of comic book reviews. Next week is a fifth week, so I don't have any comics. So the next episode of Retro Reviews is coming, and I will be reviewing Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2 from 1999, number 6, which is the comic that got me to becoming a regular comic book reader and not just an occasional reader, which I had been up to that point, where I bought comics in 1993, bought comics in 1996, not really interested in comics, but once I found my old those old comics that I bought before, got me interested into getting into comics, trying them again, and this time staying for good. So I will be reviewing that. So check it out when it comes out next Saturday. Of course, the Golden Age Superman video is up, where I talk some history and I do a quick review of Action Comics #1. So that's it for today. Until next time, keep smiling.